Most people laugh at duck walks until they try them. I'm the first to admit that the duck walk looks really goofy and weird, but the truth is, this one exercise can completely reshape the way your body feels and performs. It's part squat, part mobility stretch, and part conditioning drill, so it hits muscles you didn't even know you had. Stick with it for just a few weeks, and you'll notice changes in your strength, posture, endurance, and even your mental toughness. Let's break down exactly how duck walks transform the body. The first thing duck walks change is the endurance of your leg muscles. Holding a low squat position while moving forward forces your quads, inner thighs, glutes, tibialis, and calves to work without rest. Unlike regular squats, where each rep ends at the top and the muscles get a quick break, duck walks keep them under constant tension for the entire set. That non-stop demand is why even short distances make your thighs feel like they're on fire. Plus, yes, your shin muscles get much more activation than with regular squats, though your hamstrings won't be as targeted. That's really important because weaker legs with inflexible knees and hips are correlated with a higher risk of mortality for men. I'll include one study in the description below so you can read it yourself. And here's the thing, this isn't about bodybuilding style hypertrophy, it's about teaching your legs to keep producing force under fatigue. That kind of muscular endurance is exactly why you'll see kids doing duck walks in PE class as a warm-up, or athletes using them as a conditioning drill. They build stamina in the lower body that carries over into running, climbing, and any sport where your legs can't afford to quit. If you want to reap this benefit, don't just shuffle through duck walks quickly. Stay as low as you can while keeping your chest upright and aim for distance or time. Try 3 rounds of 30 seconds each, and you'll feel the difference in how long your legs can handle sustained work. Now, you may wonder how hard your legs will burn, but this brings me to the next point. The truth is, when most people try duck walks, their legs aren't what give out first, it's their hips and core. Staying low forces your abs to stay braced and your hips to stabilize every step, or otherwise, you collapse inward. It's not the kind of burn you feel with leg raises or planks. It's a deep, steady tension that makes your torso work overtime just to keep balance. I noticed this myself the first time I added duck walks to a warm-up. My legs were fine for the first few steps, but my hips started wobbling and my core had to lock down harder than I expected. That's because duck walks demand anti-collapse strength, which is the ability of your hips and abs to hold posture under pressure. That stability is what carries over into real life. It's the reason your knees don't cave in when you squat, your hips don't sway when you run, and your lower back doesn't get overworked when you pick something heavy off the ground. If your midsection feels like it's shaking during duck walks, that's a good sign. It means you're finally waking up those stabilizers that keep your body moving safely. Of course, one of the biggest surprises with duck walks is how quickly they expose tightness. If your ankles don't bend well, your heels pop up. If your hips are stiff, you can't stay low without leaning forward. And if your knees don't move smoothly, every step feels like a grind. In other words, duck walks are a spotlight on where your mobility is lacking. That discomfort isn't a bad thing, unless you feel real pain. Otherwise, muscle soreness without pain is just the training effect. Unlike static stretches, duck walks take you through deep ranges of motion while you're under load. Your hips, knees, and ankles get more flexible, yes, but more importantly, they get stronger in those positions. That's why athletes use loaded mobility drills like this instead of just sitting in a stretch. The body adapts to what it practices, and when you practice moving dynamically in a deep squat, your joints learn to handle that range more confidently. And I know firsthand that duck walks can feel brutal for anyone who struggles with ankle stiffness or hip tightness. But stick with short distances, stay controlled, and that tension slowly turns into freedom of movement. Even better, you'll improve your posture and back strength. Try walking in that deep squat as a beginner, and you'll notice right away your body wants to fold forward. Your chest dips, your shoulders round, and suddenly it feels like you're carrying a heavy pack even though it's just your own body weight. The only way to fight it is by keeping the spine tall and the upper back engaged. That's where the magic happens. Holding yourself upright against that forward pull strengthens the spinal erectors and mid-back muscles that protect posture. If you spend most of your day sitting and slouching with a posterior pelvic tilt, duck walks help you train the opposite, an upright torso with your core braced and your back holding its ground. And of course, that kind of posture also carries over into daily life. You stand taller, your shoulders sit further back, and your lower back feels more supported. Now, here's where duck walks really surprise people. You start off thinking it's just a leg drill, but within 20 seconds, your heart's pounding, your lungs are working overtime, and you're gasping like you just sprinted up a hill. That's because duck walks combine strength and cardio in one shot. Every step forces big muscles in your core and lower body to contract under constant tension. And when those large muscles are working non-stop, your body needs more oxygen fast. That spikes your heart rate by a lot. Honestly, for me, a short round of duck walks feels like a set of squats and a set of sprints rolled into one. If you're pressed for time during your warm-ups, or when you're traveling or busy with kids, this is gold because you're training strength and cardio together instead of splitting them apart. Do 5 or 6 30-second rounds, and you'll feel like you've done a full lower body workout plus a conditioning circuit all in under 5 minutes. Now, I know what you're gonna say, duck walks are brutal on the joints, and that's true, but in the best way possible. Sitting low and stepping forward puts the knees, hips, and ankles under constant bent position pressure. At first, that can feel uncomfortable, especially if you've never trained those ranges before. However, your joints adapt in time. If you start slow and take it easy, your ligaments, tendons, and supporting tissues get stronger from being loaded in a safe, controlled way. The key is progression. If you try to force long distances on day one, your knees will hate you. But start small with maybe 5 to 10 steps, rest, then repeat. Your joints learn to handle more gradually. Think of it as strength training for your connective tissue. And once your knees and ankles are used to that pressure, everyday movement feels easier, safer, and more stable. And another thing that duck walks change is your mental toughness. Duck walks genuinely test your head. The burn kicks in fast, your legs start screaming, and every step feels heavier than the last. It's one of those exercises where your body wants to quit long before you're actually done. Duck walks teach you to keep moving under discomfort, to breathe through the burn instead of stopping at the first sign of fatigue. They build grit, and you need that kind of mental toughness for everything else in life, whether it's pushing through the last reps of a workout, finishing a run, or just dealing with challenges outside the gym. If you can hold your form and keep walking when your legs feel like concrete, that discipline sticks with you. Duck walks are humbling, but they also prove you're stronger than the voice in your head telling you to quit. So that's the duck walk. It has a silly name, but a brutal payoff. Now I want to hear from you. Have you ever tried duck walk seriously, not just as a warm-up or a joke? How far could you go before your legs gave out? Drop it in the comments. I'll be reading and replying. And if this breakdown helped, hit like and subscribe. It really supports the channel, and I appreciate it more than you know. Now go try duck walks and see how long you last.